YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the office. Welcome back to the marker board. It's been a while since I've made a video using the marker board. I think the last video that I made was the prequel to this video. The first time that I made the full body training split video was probably the last time that I used this, and that was about 8 months ago. So it's been a while since I've used this for video purposes, but I wanted to change that today because I wanted to talk about my training split and how my training split has evolved since the last time that I updated you guys with what my training split was, which, as I just mentioned, was about 8 months ago. So I am making this video under the premise that you guys have seen the first one. If you haven't, then I would recommend that you go check that out so that you can kind of have a general idea of what's going on here. But if you haven't seen it, I will kind of just fill you guys in with some of the things as we kind of go through here. So I'm going to step away here and kind of let you guys see what we're looking at. The training sessions that you're seeing are my 4 workouts, and again, I do full body training, and I train every other day. So I'll train, take a day off, train, take a day off, train, take a day off. And I personally like to run 4 different rotations of full body training. You don't need 4, you can do 3, you can do 2, and I'm sure in some limited instances you could probably do 1. From my experience, if you're going to be training muscles at maximum frequency every other day, I have been able to extend my runs of progression longer and further by using different rotations of the training sessions and essentially using different exercises and cycling through those. So if you're unfamiliar with that, then that's kind of some of the thought process behind that. As we kind of start to get into some of the specifics here, real quick for some color coding, the things that are written in red are the things that have not changed since the last time that I made a training split video, and then the things that are in blue are the things that have changed since I've made my last training split video. So we'll kind of get into some of the intricacies between that and just kind of update you guys with how my split has evolved and changed over the course of the last 8 months. All right, so the first change, and probably the most impactful and the most important one, at least in my opinion, would be changing the order that I was performing my A and C training sessions with. So the sessions were, and they still are, set up to be upper biased versus lower body biased training sessions. With full body training, you are training every muscle group in your body every other day, and I like to simply deviate and differentiate the sessions between workouts that are slightly more focused on upper body in terms of exercise selection and volume versus sessions that are a little bit more biased towards lower body in terms of volume and exercise selection. So my A and C workouts are my workouts that are more focused on the upper body. If you take a look at the exercises that I'm doing, I am doing 5 exercises for my lower body and then 8 for the upper body, versus on a lower body day, it's the opposite, where I'm doing 8 exercises for the lower body, maybe it's 7, and then 5 or 6 for the upper body. So just some slight differences there, but the main difference is the order that I'm performing the sessions in. So the last time that I made the video on my A and C workouts, all of my workouts, by the way, start with abs and calves. I'll get into that in a second because there are some changes that have happened there. But once once I finished up the abs and the calves, I was previously going into my upper body work and then finishing the workout with my lower body work. And on the lower body dominant sessions, I've always started with the lower body work and then finished with the upper body work at the end. But I made the change with A and C to do my lower body work first at the beginning. So all 4 of my training sessions, I am doing lower body work first to start the session, and then I'm doing my upper body work after I have done that. The legs and the lower body have been the main focal point ever since I stepped off stage in 2023, and they still continue to be the main focal point. And I want to be doing all of my lower body work at the beginning of the training session when I have the most energy and I can put the most effort into that. And then if there are going to be exercises that kind of suffer, for lack of a better word, they struggle to progress towards the end of the workout because of the fatigue that I've accumulated from the beginning of the session, I would prefer that to be my upper body stuff versus my lower body stuff. I want to be putting maximum effort into my lower body training. So all 4 of the training sessions are starting with lower body work. Even the workouts that are heavily kind of biased towards upper body training, I'm still getting the lower body training done first so that I can put maximum effort into that. So that's the biggest change that I've made kind of across the board. And then as we get into each individual session, I've had some rep ranges that have changed, and I've had some exercises that have changed out as well. Since the last time that I made a split video, my gym has actually gotten a bunch of new equipment. I think we've probably gotten 7 or 8 new pieces of you, maybe even more. I mean, we really have upgraded quite a bit this year. And so getting some new stuff in and having some stuff that I maybe wasn't really connecting very well with for a little bit there, or it wasn't progressing as well, that was a good opportunity for me to get some new stuff in there. And a lot of that new stuff has been feeling great and progressing great as well. So everything is kind of clicking there. So let's kind of get into some of the things that have changed since the last time that I made this video, starting off on the A training session. And I guess that this would encompass A and C. The last time that I was making this video, I was doing a donkey calf raise here, but the machine that I was doing wasn't a true donkey calf raise. It was like a plate loaded leg press, and I was just calling it a donkey calf raise because it just reminded me of that position. But since then, coincidentally, my gym has actually gotten a true donkey calf raise machine from Arsenal Strength, and they actually replaced the old one that I was using with the new one. This new one is a huge upgrade from the one that I was using. So even though the name of the exercise hasn't changed and the rep range and everything hasn't changed, the actual machine has changed, kind of going from again, a plate loaded like leg press type of calf raise into a true donkey style calf raise. And then once I get the ab and calf work done at the beginning, as I said, I get into the lower body work, which is the lying leg curl. On the A workout, I do the lying leg curl in the heavy rep range, which is where I'm aiming to fail between 5 and 8 reps. And then on the C day, I'm aiming to fail between 8 to 12 reps. That's a very common thing that you're going to see between all of these sessions. Is I have a lot of exercises that I use multiple times in the week. The adductor is a great example of that. I use the adductor on all 4 training sessions, so I'm doing the adductor every other day. And when I'm using the same piece of equipment very, very, very frequently, I like to alter the rep ranges that I'm using so that I can keep progression going longer. This is called undulating periodization, which just simply means you're waving things kind of up and down versus doing the 5 to 8 rep range every single day. From my experience, you're going to stall out progressive overload wise versus if you were doing different rep ranges. So for example, if you had 3 sessions and you're doing the adductor on all 3 sessions, say that you just had A, B, and C. And instead of doing the adductor 5 to 8, 5 to 8, 5 to 8, you did it 5 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 15, and then you would cycle back through those rep ranges, progressively overloading the weights that you're using in all three of those different rep ranges. That is a very common thing that I use with myself and I use with a lot of clients, is if you're going to use the same piece of equipment multiple times throughout the week, ideally you would use a different rep range to keep progression going longer, and also just keep wear and tear down on the soft tissue, your connective tissue, your tendons, overall joint fatigue. Just sticking with that 5 to 8 rep range gets very, very tiring on your joints after a while, especially if you're doing it every other day. 4 times a week you're going in the gym and doing 5 to 8 reps, 5 to 8 reps, 5 to 8 reps. You know, the soft tissue can really only keep up with that so much from my perspective. So still doing the lying leg curl in the heavy rep range here, and then the adductor I'm doing, this is the 12 to 15 rep range is what I would refer to as very light. So it doesn't always go like this, but for the sake of the video, you'll see that some exercises are heavy, some are light, some are medium, some are very light. Just to kind of give you an idea, heavy would be 5 to 8, medium would be 8 to 12, light would maybe be well, in certain cases, light would be 8 to 12, but very light would be like 12 to 15 or even higher. Great segue point. The main focal point has been my quads. Obviously, my lower body is what I want to improve, but specifically within the lower body, the quads are the main area that I would like to improve. And so I have been doing leg extensions and a squatting pattern every other day for a long time. I mean, over a year now. And who would have thought that doing quad work that frequently would have your quad tendons very, very sore? So I'm at the point right now where I'm not really doing any leg extension work in the 5 to 8 rep range. A lot of my leg extension work is between 8 and 20 reps, and then I'm doing my leg pressing and my hack and pendulum squatting in the lower rep range, because sticking with the low rep ranges on the leg extension was tearing my knees up for a long time, and it finally took me just altering the rep ranges a little bit and getting out of those low rep ranges to get my knees feeling good again. So they're in a good spot now. The single leg extension was actually previously on the B workout, but I have flip-flopped those. I want to be doing the single leg extension on my A and C workouts because, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, I'm experimenting with adding in a second set of the leg extensions on the B and D days so that I can drive overall quad volume up as high as I can get it. I want to be working at the maximum amount of volume that I can be working with for my quads to try and get those to grow as much as possible. So I've flip-flopped from the last time I made this video, the single leg and the double leg extension, and then on this particular day I'm working in like 15 to 20 reps on the single leg extension. The fatigue demon is going to get me. No, it's not. This rep range is progressible for me right now, and it's not making my quad tendons any worse. So this is a good and safe rep range for me to be training in from there. After that, a lot of things are the same. I'm still doing the squat press. I'm still doing my chest work on the incline Smith press and my tricep work on the Smith JM press. The lat exercise that I was doing previously, I have a little cheat sheet here, was the hammer lat row, and I have since changed that to the hammer pull down. I was doing the hammer pull down the last time that I made this video, but I was doing it unilaterally single arm, and at the moment I'm doing it bilaterally double arm, and that has made that movement like so much better than me, which is very, very strange because with a lot of movements, particularly lat training, I kind of find when I do them unilaterally single arm, I can kind of connect with the muscle a little bit better, but for whatever reason, the hammer pull down, when I do it bilaterally, feels amazing, way better than what the unilateral setup does. So I think I was previously doing that on the C workout or something. I don't remember which workout it was on before. It was on a different one, but I've moved it over onto the A workout, and I am doing it bilaterally. And then the T-bar row, I believe I was doing that on the C workout, and I've also moved that over to the A workout. And then everything at the end of this session, the easy bar curl, the rear delt cable fly, and then the dumbbell lateral, all of that is still the same. So really the only thing that's changed on the A workout is a different calf raise machine, taking the single leg and the double leg extension from A and B and just flip-flopping those back and forth, and then taking whatever lat and upper back movements were on this day and replacing those with something different that was previously on another session. Okay, getting into the B workout. The B workout is pretty similar. I've had a couple of changes here. The beginning of the workout stays the exact same as it was the last time I made this video. Heavy ab work, heavy rep range for the Icarian calf raise, 5 to 8 reps for the adductor, and then 8 to 12 reps for the abductor. As I mentioned, with the A workout, I was previously doing the single leg extension here, but I've brought the double leg extension in because I am experimenting with doing a second set there. So all of these exercises, I'm only working up to one working set because of the super high frequency. The volume is very low per exercise because I hit a muscle and then I only have 48 hours until I hit it again, so it needs to be able to recover in that 48 hours, and the more work that you do, the longer it takes to recover. So the goal has been to keep volume as low as I can to keep recovery going, and I have been able to do one set of leg extension and one set of squat work, so 2 sets of quads every other day for the entirety of the time that I've been running this training split. But I would like to see if I can experiment with getting a little bit more quad volume in there and see if I can recover from it. So what I'm thinking that running 2 sets of leg extension and then 1 set of a squat movement every other day may be a little bit too much, but I may be able to alternate it. So I may be able to do 1 and 1, 2 and 1, 1 and 1, 2 and 1, instead of trying to do 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, going back to the undulating periodization thing. Instead of doing 3 sets every workout, I may be able to do 2 sets, 3 sets, 2 sets, 3 sets. And that's the reason why on the A and the C workout, I want to do the single leg extension. Because if I only get 1 set of leg extension, I want it to be on a unilateral machine because I'll be able to make the best use of that 1 set because I can be more precise with each leg that I'm using. So that's kind of why I want to use the single leg one on the days where I'm only going to be doing 1 set, is because I feel like I can kind of maximize that 1 set a little bit more versus the bilateral one, because it's a little bit less fatiguing and it's a little bit less time consuming. If I am going to be able to get away with a second set of leg extension, it would presumably be on the double leg extension. So on this day, I'm working in kind of the 8 to 12 rep range, really not trying to go below 8 reps with where my quad tendon is right now. But I am gonna add in a second set. I actually did that yesterday for the first time. So this week that I'm making this video is gonna be the first time that I'm gonna consistently try to do that. So that's a big change there, is adding more volume to the quads. So not only am I biasing the quads the most out of any muscle in my training program because of the double exercise, leg extension, and squat pattern, training the muscle through its fully shortened and fully lengthened range every other day. But now I'm also adding in more volume to that muscle just to really drive as much stimulus and growth potential to that area as I can. So that's the leg extension. I was previously doing the seated leg curl here on this day, and then I was doing a single leg unilateral leg curl on the D workout. But I've maxed out the single leg curl, and I just don't really care for it, so I got rid of that, and then I added in the seated leg curl again on this day. So the only difference is I was doing the seated leg curl in the 5 to 8 rep range on the B workout, and now I'm doing it in the 8 to 12 on this day, and I'm doing it in the 5 to 8 on this day on the D workout. Pendulum, which has always been in there. And then the last time I made this video, I was doing a bent over row, which was a really fun movement, but it kind of just got to the point where I had it programmed to kind of be a compound movement where I could hit my hamstrings and my posterior chain and my spinal erectors and my upper back at the same time. But I kind of just got to the point where I realized, you know, this movement isn't very good at training the posterior, and it isn't that great at training the upper back, so I would just be better off, instead of doing one exercise, doing two exercises, one that's focused on the posterior and one that's focused on the upper back. So that's what I did. I got rid of the bent over row, and I put two exercises in its place. The first one would be a hyper extension. We actually got one of the new pieces of equipment that we got is a machine cable hyper extension from Booty Builder, and that is great. It's pretty light. I'm using the full stack already, but it's a great machine, and that's what I added in for the posterior chain part: glutes, hamstrings, spinal erectors, and then I added in an arsenal row for the upper back portion. This machine has always been in our gym. I've just never really given it that much of an honest chance. And then for the lat movement here, I believe I was either doing the hammer pull down or the pull over. I was experimenting with both of them for a while, but now I'm using the Arsenal Strength pull down single arm, which is actually really nice. And then everything after that is the exact same. I'm using the hammer strength press for my chest and my triceps, and then the dumbbell curl and the dumbbell lateral raise at the end of the session. Getting into the C workout, so this is the other upper body training session, light ab work, and then the donkey calf raise in the 8 to 12. Again, from here we get into the lower body work. This is where I do the 8 to 12 rep lying leg curl, another 15 rep adductor, the single leg extension. This day I'm working in like the 15 to 20 rep range, and this day I'm kind of working more in like the 8 to 12, maybe 10 to 15s. Still pretty light, but not 20 reps like what I am on the A day. The leg press, this has been a huge upgrade. We still have the hammer strength leg press that I was doing, but my gym has gotten the Arsenal strength leg press, which is an upgrade in every way. It's deeper, it's more adjustable, it's more comfortable, it can be done unilaterally. It's just an upgrade in every single sense of the word. So this Arsenal leg press has been a huge upgrade from what I was using before with the hammer strength. And then this was the day where I was doing some incline dumbbell pressing. I was struggling to progress that movement, and it was kind of getting to the point where the amount of energy that I was spending picking up 110-pound dumbbells and walking them across the gym and kicking them up and doing all the bullshit just so happened to coincide with a time that we got the Arsenal Strength incline press in the gym, and that is awesome. It converges towards the top and it stretches like crazy. It's an awesome machine, so that was a super easy upgrade for me to make there. The tricep work is still done on a narrow grip press. I'm still doing the lat work on a cable pull down. And then I believe this was the day that I had the T-bar row in that I brought over to the A workout. I am now doing a seal row from Arsenal again. It is awesome, very hard. It's basically a T-bar row, but T-bar rows kind of run at a 45-degree angle, and this is completely parallel to the floor. So, you know, you're not rowing at an angle, you're rowing straight up and down. It's very hard, it's very heavy, but it's awesome. It totally fries your upper back. I was doing a cable curl here. The cable curl is gone, and I'm doing a preacher curl machine. And then I am still on the Cybex lateral raise, but at this point I've maxed it out bilaterally, and so I'm having to do it unilaterally, single arm. So it's still the same machine, but I'm just doing it single arm now. And then the rear delt work is done on the reverse pec deck. And then the D workout, this is the final workout of the rotation. Everything again here is the same from the last time. Heavy abs, light Icarian calf, medium adductor, so this is the 8 to 12. So again, I'm doing the 5 to 8 on the B, I'm doing 8 to 12 on D, and then 12 to 15 on A and C. The abductor I'm doing in the heavy rep range, this is the 5 to 8 rep range day. And then the seated leg curl, this is the heavy day, so this is the day where I do that in the 5 to 8. The leg extension, I'm working in a light rep range, so I'm kind of working more like 12 to 15 reps here. And then again, I'm experimenting with adding a second set in there, so not only has the rep range changed, but the volume has changed as well. The RDL is still in, that's always going to be my preferred posterior chain builder. The hack squat is still in, but I've added the reverse band to it. As I had mentioned earlier, my quad tendons have really been bothering me quite a bit lately, and the reverse band is purely there just to kind of take some tension off of those tendons in the bottom. It's a very thin and light reverse band, but it's enough to make my quads feel like they're not gonna explode. Chest and tricep work is done on the dip, and then upper back, teres, and some lat work is done on the pull-up. The lat work is still getting done on the single arm cable row, and then my lateral raise and curl are still being done on the cables. The last time that I made this video, the cable lateral was being done single arm, and it's now being done bilaterally, double arm. And then I was also doing a single arm cable curl, and I'm now doing a hammer curl on the cables with a rope. So a lot of the same exercises, but I've kind of just alternated between single arm, double arm, and alternated some rep ranges and everything around as well. All right, guys. Well, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you enjoyed some X's and O's discussion about training programming. As always, if you guys have any questions about anything, please leave your comments as please leave your question as a comment in the description below. If you guys are interested in coaching or any of my other services, you can obviously find that in the description as well. Follow the channel if you haven't already, and stay tuned for the next video. Otherwise, guys, take care of yourselves and train hard.